So you found the right house. You and your realtor have put together an offer and submitted it to the seller. And congratulations, they've accepted your offer. So what happens now that the offer is in place and it's under contract? Well, now we start executing the contract itself, and it's very timeline specific. So we have to make sure that everything we put in that contract we're following through on, and it's getting done in a timely manner, and that all instructions from the realtor, the lender, the attorney, they're all being followed as best as can be. The first thing we're going to do is deposit what's called an earnest money check. And that is a good faith deposit that the buyer is going to hold up their contractual obligations. Usually it's a very small amount. In our market here locally, it's generally around $1,000, maybe more depending on the price of the property or the competition there was for the property. That check is written by the buyer within the first 3 to 5 days generally, and it's deposited in a trust account either with the seller's agent's brokerage or the seller's attorney themselves. That earnest money comes out of the buyer's closing costs that the lender will give you for your cash to close, what you need to bring to the closing table. Secondly, the inspection period begins. That inspection period begins day one after the contracts are signed. It's usually 10, 15 days, somewhere in that neighborhood, where you can get the inspection scheduled. You can have them performed by the inspector, and then by the end of that period, you need to have any repair requests submitted to the sellers. From there on, it becomes a normal negotiation back and forth. What we're repairing, maybe we're issuing a credit, we're not repairing that, etc. After that, and while this is all going, the lender is doing their processes with you, the buyer, having you submit any documents they need, W-2s, financial statements. They're letting you know and being very, very specific and saying, do not take out anything credit-wise. Don't go buy furniture. Don't go buy a car. That can affect your ability to close on the house. And it's very real when they tell you just to maintain for that month and live out of your checking account. Take that seriously. They're going through the underwriting process, verifying the loan, getting everything approved. Usually we have that good to close within a week, 3 to 5 days before that closing date that's set. So we know that on the financial side, you're good to go. We'll do a final walkthrough, usually the day before closing or the morning of if it's an afternoon closing. Usually once the sellers have moved out, and we can walk through the property and see a little bit more of it that might have been covered up by furniture or a rug, window dressings, and just make sure the property is as we expect it to be. No hidden damage. After that, we're ready for the closing table. We're going to go meet at the attorney's or the closing agent's office. We're going to sit down, and you, the buyer, you're going to have a lot of paperwork to sign. The lender goes over with all that with you ahead of time, as does the attorney. Hopefully there's no surprises. Generally, we don't run into too many. The seller has their stuff to sign. Once everything's signed, all the checks are given to whoever needs to get them. I get to give you the keys, and you are ready to move into your new property.